In this video, I'm answering your most frequently asked questions about living in the Finger Lakes and Rochester regions. Part 2. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. My name's Anthony. I'm with the American Home Team here in the Rochester and Finger Lakes regions. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you're notified every Tuesday and Thursday that I release a new video. That being said, as much as I love making these videos on all things living, breathing, eating, sleeping, playing in the Rochester and Finger Lakes regions, I would love even more to help you with those real estate needs. So reach out to that information that's on the bottom of your screen there. I am the guy that answers those texts, emails, and phone calls. So without further ado, today I'm addressing more of the most frequently asked questions about living in the Finger Lakes and Rochester regions. So this is a part 2 video. Let's get into it. All right, moving right into it. First question I'm going to answer is, what is the cost of living in the Finger Lakes and Rochester regions? Now, so I guess there's not really one main answer, right? But generally speaking, we're talking anywhere from 10 to 15% lower cost of living than the national average. So this means your groceries, your gas, your vehicles, your clothes, your shoes, all of that, we're talking 10 to 15% lower. Now, that being said, you have to address property taxes, right? They're super important when you're considering, especially moving to an area and buying a property. Now, property taxes are significantly more expensive than a lot of other states or other areas, right? Property taxes are the thing that most residents, most locals here complain about. If I were to narrow down one thing that everybody complained about, like literally everybody complained about, it would be the taxes, the property taxes. It's New York State, you're not going to get around it. That being said, I guess New York State is nice enough to balance this area out with lower cost of living, and I say that kind of facetiously, but you know, 10 to 15% lower cost of living, so that is great. I know when we traveled out to Denver, Colorado, things were a lot more expensive out there. When I lived in Hawaii, things were like, I want to say like 10 times more expensive out there, obviously because it's an island, right? But then you go out to California, things are also more expensive. You go down south, things might be more expensive depending on where you go. So cost of living, it is what it is, but generally speaking, it is 10 to 15% lower than most other areas throughout the United States. Moving right along, believe it or not, question number 2 is actually, what type of properties do you get in the Rochester and Finger Lakes regions? Now, this is kind of a funny question just because, like, when you're going out west or you go down south or whatever, you're talking about a lot of contemporary homes. You're talking about the flat roof lines. You're talking about, you know, cool looking shingles on the house or on the roof. You know, you're talking different siding structures. You're talking about a lot of different things. Whereas here in Rochester, New York, you're talking a basic colonial house, split level, ranch homes. Really, that's what you're talking about. Because it's such a historic area, you do have old historic Victorians. So you've got, if you imagine like a castle or something, you're looking at things like that without a lot of the grandiose, I guess, properties. But those old Victorian homes, they do have the super high ceilings, maybe 12-foot ceilings. They do have the bigger rooms. They do have a fireplace in every single room, just because back in the day they didn't have heating like we have now. So there are those type of properties, but generally speaking, you're talking about very, I would say, average looking homes. Colonial homes, normal 2-story home. A ranch, single-story home, you know, split level. I mean, some split levels here, I toured one the other day, had 5 different levels to it. So kind of cool when you're thinking about like entertaining or hosting, you got different levels you can play on. But it's very, I would say homes are very normal, almost like kind of your cookie cutter type style residence. Now, that being said, almost every home out here, a majority of the homes I'm going to say out here, do have basements. So maybe wherever you're coming from, you don't have a basement because you have storms, you have hurricanes, you have tornadoes, whatever. Here in upstate New York, I'm gonna put it out there that probably 95 to 97% of all homes out here in this region have basements. That doesn't necessarily mean big basements. Some of the older homes are gonna have smaller basements. Maybe it's more of like a kind of a crawl space type basement, right, with the dirt floor type thing. But a majority of the time, you're going to have a basement. So that means foundational issues. That means sump pumps. That means you might have some groundwater coming into the basement if you're not paying attention to, I guess, the structure of your home. So that just plays a factor into when you're buying a home, the things that you need to look at. So like me as an agent, when I'm walking through homes, I'm looking at signs of, signs throughout the house that maybe the foundation is crumbling, or there may be structural issues in the house because of the foundation. There's tall tale signs in a lot of the homes out here if they do have structural issues. So those are things that I look for when I'm walking clients and buyers through a new home. And that's different than maybe a lot of the places that you guys are coming from, just because you might not have basements. You might have a slab, a concrete slab. Your house is just sitting on concrete, right? So it's a little bit different. A little bit more goes into it when you're talking about foundational inspections, I guess. But that being said, a majority of the residents out here are going to be, or residencies rather, out here are going to be your standard, almost cookie cutter type home. So nothing too exciting. When you start getting into a higher price range, you're talking about cooler looking homes. You're talking about more unique styles, more contemporary styles, or transitional type style, right? Or castle-like. But majority of the homes within the price point of, I would say, 100,000, or well, 0 to 3, 4, 500,000 even. You're talking very basic, very square, rectangular, cookie cutter type home. Rolling right along, question number 3 is, how easy is it for a newcomer to meet new friends, meet new people out in public when you move to the area? And I think my answer to that is, I think it's very easy. I think the ways that you go do that is you go to a restaurant. I know here in Canandaigua where I live, there's plenty of really nice restaurants that you can go and hang out at and kind of shoot the shit, if you will, with people along the bar. You don't have to drink. Most people aren't going there and getting hammered. It's a nice establishment. So you can go and hang out, have a meal, and talk to the people next to you. Most people here are friendly enough to engage in conversation with you and take your information so that you guys can meet up at a later time and hang out, or go on the boat on the lake or something like that, or go bowling, or whatever the case is. Take the kiddos to the water park. There's all sorts of different places. And then, not to mention, you go up to the city. So, from Canandaigua, you have a 25-minute drive up to Rochester. And if you're a little bit into the younger scene, right, you have a bunch of like bars and clubs up there on the East Ave and Park Ave area, right? So you can go and sit down and have some drinks. You can go to the club, go to the bar, dance with people, or do whatever, whatever you kids do. I don't really do it, but if that's what you like to do, there's plenty of people that are willing to meet new people. I feel like, we've said it in multiple videos so far, but Buffalo is the city of friendly neighbors. And I think that Rochester, being such close proximity to Buffalo, Rochester is right there behind it. It's the city of friendly neighbors 2.0, right? It's super easy to meet new people, engage with new people, build new connections, network with other professionals, things like that. I don't ever see it being a problem with people moving to the area as it pertains to meeting new people, gaining new friends, building new relationships, and ultimately, living an enjoyable life when you get here into the Rochester and Finger Lakes area. All right, and the last question I'm going to address is, overall, what is the quality of life living in the Finger Lakes and Rochester regions? And I think it's kind of a loaded question. Overall, I would say good. I think that really it's up to you to determine that. I think the quality of life is on your shoulders when you come here. Just like anywhere, if you were to move to Florida, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Michigan, or upstate New York, I think the quality of life is in your hands. You're the one who is going to decide that based on the things that you go out and do, based on the opportunities that you decide to take, and the people that you decide to meet. So I can't necessarily answer for sure what the quality of life is. I know for me and my family, it's been great. I think if you get outside, you get some sunlight, right? When there is sun. Today it's there's some cloud, mainly behind me it's cloudy, but over here it's sunny. So when there is sun, go out and get some sun. When it's a nice day, go out on the lake. Get in sight of the water, because something with the water does something to you where it puts you in a better mood, makes you feel better, makes you happier, right? So get out by the water. Go meet new people. I think as human beings, we are social beings. We're supposed to be out there engaging with other people, meeting new friends, building new relationships. So that being said, there's plenty of places to like go exercise. You can go kayak on the lake. You can go to the gym and make fitness a priority. So I think there's plenty of things that you can do to make quality of life amazing here, just like there is anywhere else in the world, right? Your quality of life, I believe, is based on ultimately what you're doing as an individual to make it better. So if you're not trying to make it better, then it's not going to be better. It's not going to be good, right? But if you are doing all those things, I would say quality of life would be pretty good, if not great, right? Like, could the weather be better? Of course it could. Could taxes be better? Of course it could. But overall, generally speaking, I think quality of life is great. I think it's really good. I really, my family and I, we stay here for a reason. I think that we enjoy it here, and we have considered moving multiple times. It's not to say that we haven't. We have. Families here, so that's one thing that keeps us here, but quality of life here is good. Like I said, cost of living is cheap. There are things to do. You're in proximity to a lot of the major cities: Syracuse, Buffalo, Rochester. Albany's 3 hours away. New York City's 5 hours away. Like Pennsylvania, you can go to, it's a 10-hour drive to North Carolina, something like that. So there's a lot to do around here, and you're in good proximity to a lot of other places. Now, like, flights across the country may stink because it could be expensive. I know, flights leaving out of California, obviously, to Hawaii are going to be like $400, whereas flights out of here are going to be like $1,500 to Hawaii. So it is what it is. There's give and take, right? But ultimately, the quality of life is what you make of it. If you're doing all the things that you need to do, then your quality of life is going to be great. If you're not, then that's on you. It's not going to be very good. So that being said, hope you guys took something from this. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or message or call me. I'm happy to answer any and all of your questions. So that being said, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you're notified every Tuesday and Thursday that I release a new video. And, of course, with that being said, as much as I love making these videos on all things living, breathing, eating, sleeping, playing in the Finger Lakes and Rochester regions, I would love even more to help you with all those real estate needs. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, be sure to reach out to me. That information that's popping up on your screen, I am the guy that answers those texts, phone calls, and emails. So be sure to reach out. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.